Hey, it's Liam the Prove It Guy, and I'm sitting here with JH Tepley from Area Mind Mastery.
That's
Would,
right.
would you like to introduce yourself to the audience and tell them a little bit about what you do?
Alright, so yeah, my name is Jay and I train people for mental fitness so they have a stronger mind and they can create a greater difference in the world. So basically, this is what comes down to. And meditation is one of the ways to train your mind for strength, which most people don't understand, but really, meditation done properly reinforces the powers of your mind and allows you to understand yourself better. So this is what it really comes down to.
Do
With
you
some,
think do you
yeah.
think that it's just as important to do something that improves the mind as well as the body? Like we would know a lot of people that would understand running or going to the gym is important, but do you think meditation is as or more important?
Oh, absolutely, because it all starts in your mind. As you probably know, the real strength doesn't come from your muscles, but it comes from your nervous system, which comes from your brain, which comes from your mind. So, with the right mindset, it is possible to make your body stronger by just concentrating on it. For example, Schwarzenegger admitted that when he was training, he was always visualizing his muscles growing bigger and stronger,
Yeah.
and it helped him a lot.
So whenever I would say that to people when I'm teaching them that if you visualize the weight going up instead of talking to yourself about how heavy it is or how it's going to be hard or how you can't do it, if you visualize it just going up and you're facilitating that, it makes it so much easier. And anyone that I've worked with has done that. So how would you suggest people start, like with meditating, for example?
Alright, so meditation is a really, I think it's one of the most misunderstood topics that we've got because it got reintroduced from the East. We used to have our Western tradition of meditation, which has been almost forgotten. So when it got reintroduced from the East, it confused lots of people because the way they were doing it there is not necessarily compatible with our way of life. So essentially, meditation is a workout for your mind. And if you look at it that way, you understand that no religious overlays are necessary there, really. Well, you can add them if you like, but essentially, it's like adding some religious overlay to your workout, physical workout, so you don't need that. What you need to do is start from small weights. I always say, start from really small weights, something you can handle. And the easiest way to start is to essentially just turn your attention into where you are and what you're doing to begin with. And this is called mindfulness. So, mindfulness is the smallest weight that anyone can handle. I usually suggest doing 5 times a day for at least 30 seconds. And there is no excuse really because no matter how busy you are, there is always 30 seconds that you're not really doing anything or you're just taking a break. So you can do that. And what do? You just set an alarm or reminder on your phone, and every time it goes off, just look around you and notice these things. First, notice where you are, really. Then notice your breathing. How is it, shallow or is it deep and relaxed? And then notice how you feel within yourself, both mentally and physically. So after that, bring your breathing to a calm, relaxed pace and then relax all the muscles in your body and stay like that for 30 seconds. Then continue with whatever you were doing. And your goal is to try and extend those times from 30 seconds to a minute, then maybe a minute and a half, then 2 minutes, until you can be doing whatever you want to do while maintaining that focus, while maintaining that presence of the mind. So you're actually always present, whatever you do, you're aware of where you are, how you feel, what you think. If you're doing something, you know exactly why you're doing that. And this is your first entry level to meditation. So having mastered that, you will notice that meditating will come much easier. And also, it's worth remembering that there are different kinds of meditation that are suitable for different people. So if you find it difficult to just sit down and close your eyes and do nothing, then don't force yourself, because there is a dancing meditation, there is a walking meditation, and you can use any kind that suits you personally and resonates with you, but try to find whatever is easiest to start with and then build your way up.
So it doesn't matter where a person is. So a lot of people would think that they have to set up a meditative spot. So they have to be able to go home and find a quiet time. So what you're saying is that they can take 30 seconds up to a minute or whatever, wherever they are, just be aware in that moment of
Absolutely.
what they're doing and why they're doing it. Whenever you talked about breathing, I would explain a lot to people that breathing is important. Everyone knows breathing is important because we do it all the time, but nobody actually focuses on the breath. They either breathe with the top of their lungs or maybe a wee bit into the middle, but they don't force themselves to do a full deep breath. So I think if people would take a little bit of time, even just do 5 breaths a day where they think about their breathing, then when they go to meditate, they're able to sit and focus on the breathing better, and just breathing that deeply will just relax you in general without you having to think too much about anything else. Plus it stops you thinking too much because you're thinking, your focus is on your breathing, so you can't think about what was going on over there, what's going on over here. You're focusing, it's making you focus on yourself in a controlled, nice way. Does that make, you know what I'm saying with the breathing? So once people start to practice that, what is there anything that they should expect to feel or about themselves, or do you think anything will come up for them that they would have to deal with, and how they would deal with that?
Well, it's really different for every person, so I wouldn't say you should expect something specific just because someone else said that they had this kind of experience, because every person's mind is different. So what you will notice though is that your ability to concentrate increases, that your calmness and stillness increases, and the power of your presence increases as well. So other people will notice that you radiate calm and strength. You will notice that with time. Same as when you exercise physically, you can expect your physical muscles to grow and be bigger. Obviously, if you're doing it right. Same with meditation. You can expect these benefits to happen. Now, different people have different experiences. Some people have out-of-body experiences when meditating. Some people have paranormal kind of experiences, metaphysical experiences where they can suddenly sense energies and so on. And essentially meditation is the route that brings you back home to who you really are. And what we really are is not this body or this mind, but essentially this sparkle of the universal light that is within us, dormant in most people. And meditation step by step can bring you closer to experiencing that, not just understanding that on the conscious level, because most people when explain that would nod their head saying, yeah, I understand that I can be awareness, but understanding is not enough. What you need is to actually be able to step into it and experience it, and meditation is the tool, the route that takes you there. So the speed is different for different people, the experiences are different for different people. It is possible that while meditating something may come up, some emotional trauma that you've been suppressing for a long time, and then again, if that comes up, don't be scared, acknowledge it, thinking, okay, I have this thing, this trauma, this emotion coming up, look at it, step away from it, don't merge with it, just step away and observe as if you were a researcher observing something, thinking, okay, this emotion is in me, and ask yourself questions like a researcher would. Why do I hold on to this emotion? What is it teaching me? Why is it in my life? What kind of benefit can I achieve if I look deeper? So don't look away, don't get scared, but try and look into it and ask questions and learn from it. Obviously, if it's too overwhelming, then find someone qualified to help you. But essentially, if something like that comes up when you're meditating, it's a really good sign. It means that you are cleansing your mind, your inner energy field. So it's nothing to be worried about when it appears, but if you feel too overwhelmed, obviously just ask someone for help who knows how to guide you out of there.
I think it's really important you said about meditation is the way into all of this, but also the way back out. Mm-hmm. And what I would notice is a lot of people meditate, and then when something like that comes up where it's an emotion or something that they have to deal with, they're not happy with dealing with, they run away from it, or they stop meditating, or they say that meditating's just not for them. Whereas if they questioned it, like you're saying, like a researcher, they could question that. They might find the answers themselves, but they might also find that it's not down to them to deal with it, so that they can ask someone that's qualified to deal with it. But if they continue to do the meditation, it will bring them back rather than them having to run away out of fear.
Yes. Yes. Meditation actually allows you to connect with your true self. And the true self, as I said, that awareness beyond your body and your mind and your emotions, that sparkle of the universal light is immortal and is completely fearless. So the more you connect with it, the less fear you will experience in your life. And even physiologically, when scientists looked at the brain scans of people who have been meditating for a while, even for a space of 6 weeks, they have already observed certain changes in their brain that showed that the brain of that person was generating less fear and was calmer, was more focused, and had a better ability to make decisions. So when you think about it, the ability to make good decisions is really, really important in our life. And this is what happens when we meditate. Our brains actually change on the physical level as well to reflect those inner changes that are happening in our mind.
Whenever you're dealing with fear, do you find people that run away from fear because it's scary? But if they had actually dealt with it, the more they deal with the fear, the stronger they get at dealing with things that frighten them. So then less things become the things that they should be afraid of, because they don't deal with anything they're afraid of in general. It starts to just build, so everything becomes scary to them.
Absolutely. And many times you can talk to other people you know, and they will all say the same thing, that they thought something was really scary, so they wouldn't look at it for ages and they would not confront it. But with the moment that they decided to turn around and actually look at it, they suddenly discovered that it wasn't as scary at all. So it was their mind that was scaring them, not the actual thing. And they're like, why did this hold me back? This actually is just ridiculous. It's not worth my attention. And they move over it and move on. So that is the power that you have. You just need to tap into it.
Yeah, I think it's really important for people to realize that their emotion are theirs. No matter if your heart was broken and you think it was their fault, it's your reaction to it, is how you deal with your emotions. Same as with fear or excitement or anything like that. If you start to look into yourself, and the easiest way to do that is with meditating. If you start to look into yourself, you can overcome the things that are holding you back with your own power. And once you do that once you overcome anything, it becomes easier as you go, because you have something to back up the fact that you feel strong, and you know you are actually strong because you overcame getting on a plane, or you overcame going to a store, or whatever it is that you...
Oh, like talking to a person you don't know.
Yeah. I think talking to a person you don't know is the strangest fear that people have, because they don't know you and you don't know them. So if they do not want to talk to you, it's not because they don't want to talk to your person. They don't want to talk to your approach. So the more you practice that, the easier it becomes, to the point where it doesn't actually faze you at all. You're not looking for them to build you up, or for them to think you're cool or exciting or anything like that. You know who you are for yourself. So you know when you go to talk to someone, you're bringing something into their life that's good, rather than hoping to take something from theirs that makes yours feel better.
Absolutely. And also people can really sense what you feel before you approach them. So if you create a nice positive mindset within yourself, which is not forced, by the way, because most people try to create a mask when they pretend that they're feeling confident and happy, but underneath they're still scared, and it comes across really fake and sort of, well, cringy in some ways. So the best way is to create the state of mind in you first that you want those people to experience when you meet them. So for example, when I meet new people, I always have a mindset of they're my best friends. I just haven't met them yet, but they're my potential best friends, and I talk to them as if they were, and they respond the same way, because people respond, they give back to you what you give to them. So always start from yourself. Come with an open hand saying, hey, I have this to offer. And if they say, no, actually, you know what, I'm not in the right place right now, just say, yeah, okay, doesn't matter, it's not a problem. It's like, imagine you are sitting around surrounded by your friends, and you get up and say, hey, does anyone want a cup of tea? And some people say yes, and some people say, no, I pass, thanks. And you don't feel offended or rejected by it. You just offered something, they didn't want it at the time. It's fine, it's not a problem. So if you look at it that way, it will stop bothering you if people don't want to talk to you. Maybe they're busy, maybe they're stressed, maybe it's not the right time. It has nothing to do with you. It's like you offered to make a cup of tea, they didn't want it. Well, the loss is theirs.
Whenever you do that for yourself, I'm just thinking, whenever you offer the cup of tea to everyone, you still get a cup of tea out of it. So the same thing, whenever you make yourself in a positive mindset, and then you go, even if they don't want to have anything to do with your positive mindset, you still get to bathe in that. You still have a positive mindset.
Absolutely.
So you still get the benefit anyway. So it's something really important, I think, that people should work on, instead of going over with a mindset of fear or anxiety of what could. It's all imagined. So if you're imagining an outcome that's bad, why not imagine it to be great? That's what I do with everything I do, is explaining about when I'm doing weights or anything. When I'm training, I imagine that's definitely going to work. When I talk to new people, I imagine they're going to really enjoy talking to me, because I'm going to really enjoy talking to them because of what I could learn.
Absolutely. They're just friends you haven't met yet.
Yeah, exactly. So how could people get in touch with you or with your work if they wanted to learn more about what you do?
Okay, so I love social media, so you can find me there, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram as well. My website is areamindtraining.com, which we'll
link to everything at the
somewhere.
bottom. Yeah.
Yes. So you can get in touch with me through my social media or through my website. I'm based in London, but I travel the world teaching mind mastery and explaining to people how they can become stronger using the power of their own mind. So it's really, really easy to find me.
And also you have a few books and things that people could...
Oh yes, yeah, and you can find my books on Amazon. Obviously, it's not a way to get in touch with me, but you can get my books from there. If you just Google JH Tepley, my textbooks for the courses that I run, Mind Mastery Level 1 and Mind Mastery Level 2 will come up. I also have a new book I'm preparing for publishing right now, which I'm really excited about because it's really special. It's really different from any of the books I've written so far. It's essentially a novel that teaches you mind mastery as you follow those characters' adventures, and it's a story about 3 young warriors who have psychic powers, so they can concentrate energy and use it for fight, but otherwise they're very young, very inexperienced, and they're discovering the world and themselves and their mind and what the mind can do. And the techniques described in the book are the actual working techniques in real life. So when people say, oh, what kind of book is it? I always say, well, it's a fantasy novel, but it's interactive. It's the most interactive fantasy novel that you can think of, because you can actually step into that world. So as you're reading, you can bring that world into this one and merge them together, so your reality becomes magical reality. I know it sounds probably quite out there, but you will see when you read it. You will see what I mean.
It's a way of learning all of the tools that you would learn in other, not that it's anywhere near a self-help book, but when people buy a self-help book, it gives them steps which people find boring and they only read bits of it, or they skip to step 10 because they want to achieve that. Whereas if they read your book, they will be able to learn with the characters so that they can all progress at the same sort of level without being bored, actually being quite excited.
Absolutely. Well, it's a proper fantasy novel, so it's got all the right ingredients like swords and dragons and time travel, lots of time travel. And yes, so I think it's a much more entertaining way of learning something, and it merges the best of both.
Cool. So all the links will be underneath. I'll put the links to the books on Amazon as well. And if you have any questions, you can get in touch with either one of us. It'll be linked at the bottom as well. So thank you very much for listening, and thank you very much for taking part.
Thank you for inviting me.